Burkina Faso's interim president Ibrahim Traore has banned the importation of second-handed cloths, mostly from America and Europe, stating that Africa in general, and Burkina Faso in particular, is not a dumping ground for old cloths from random Westerners. This decision is part of a broader initiative to reduce Western influence and promote local industries. By encouraging citizens to wear domestically produced garments, the government aims to boost the national economy and foster cultural pride. This move aligns with other measures taken by Traoré's administration to assert Burkina Faso's sovereignty and cultural identity. For instance, he banned the wearing of wigs by lawyers in courts, stating it is the colonial style, and he no longer wants that. Then he replaced the Western-style judicial robes with African-inspired attire, symbolizing a commitment to embracing indigenous heritage. These are just one amongst the many transformative decisions he has taken since becoming Africa's youngest president at just 34 years, and he is being celebrated by the entire continent of Africa as a revolutionary leader, with many calling on other African leaders to follow his footsteps. To better understand his decision, let's take you back to how Africa ended up as a dumping ground for used clothes from the United States and Europe. The importation of second-hand clothes to Africa, commonly known as mitumba or okrika, has its roots in the late 20th century. This practice emerged primarily from the global phenomenon of fast fashion and the subsequent rise in textile waste in Western countries. As consumer culture shifted towards rapidly changing fashion trends, vast quantities of clothing were discarded, often still in good condition. This surplus of used garments became a resource that, instead of being landfilled, found its way into emerging markets in Africa. By the 1990s, the practice evolved into a structured trade, with companies specializing in sorting, grading, and exporting used clothing to various African countries. Major importers include nations like Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Nigeria, and Ghana, where second-hand clothing markets became integral to local economies. The debate over the importation of second-hand clothes to Africa raises several compelling arguments for why some African countries might consider banning or regulating these imports. Here are some key reasons. 1. Protection of local industries. One of the primary arguments for banning second-hand clothing imports is the protection of local textile and garments industries. The influx of cheap, used clothes often undermines local manufacturers, making it difficult for them to compete. This can lead to job losses and stifle the growth of domestic production, which is essential for economic development and self-sufficiency. 2. Encouraging local entrepreneurship. By limiting the importation of second-hand garments, governments can encourage the growth of local fashion and textile businesses. This can foster innovation and creativity, leading to a vibrant local fashion industry that reflects African culture and styles. Supporting local entrepreneurs creates jobs and stimulates economic growth. 3. Quality control and safety concerns. Imported second-hand clothes may not always meet safety and health standards. There is a risk that some garments could be damaged or contaminated, posing health risks to consumers. By promoting locally produced clothing, governments can ensure that products meet safety regulations and quality standards. 4. Cultural identity and pride. The reliance on imported second-hand clothes can dilute cultural identity and fashion sensibilities. By focusing on local production, African nations can promote traditional textiles, designs, and craftsmanship, fostering a sense of pride in local heritage and culture. 5. Environmental impact. While reusing clothing is generally more sustainable than fast fashion, the sheer volume of imported second-hand clothes can lead to waste management issues. Many garments end up discarded and contribute to landfill problems. Encouraging local production can lead to more sustainable practices tailored to local needs. 6. Economic dependency. Heavy reliance on imported second-hand clothing can create economic dependency on foreign markets. This can make countries vulnerable to fluctuations in global supply chains and trade policies. By developing local industries, nations can build more resilient economies. 7. Creating a sustainable fashion ecosystem. Banning or regulating second-hand imports can pave the way for a more sustainable fashion ecosystem. Local textile production can integrate sustainable practices, such as eco-friendly materials and fair labor conditions, leading to a more ethical fashion industry. While Ibrahim Traore's decision might seem reasonable, a lot of people argue that it will distaste the economic situation and put a lot of Burkinabés in uncomfortable positions. They argue that importing these cloths may have a lot of advantages as well, which we will look at a few. 1. Affordability. One of the most significant advantages of second-hand clothes is their affordability. For many consumers in Africa, especially in low-income communities, the cost of new clothing can be prohibitive. Second-hand clothes provides a budget-friendly alternative, allowing individuals to purchase quality garments at a fraction of the retail price. 2. Variety and fashion access. Second-hand clothing offers a wide variety of styles, catering to diverse tastes. Many of these garments reflect Western fashion trends, giving consumers access to styles that may not be available locally. This variety enables individuals to express their personal style without the financial burden of new clothing. 3. Economic opportunities. The Mitumba trade has created numerous economic opportunities. Local vendors operate stalls and markets, selling second-hand clothing and generating income for themselves and their families. This sector supports a range of jobs, from sorting and grading to retail sales, contributing to local economies. 4. Sustainability. The importation of second-hand clothes can be seen as a more sustainable option compared to fast fashion. By reusing garments, the environmental impact associated with textile production, such as water usage, chemical pollution, and waste, is reduced. This practice promotes a circular economy, where clothes are reused rather than discarded. 5. Cultural exchange. The influx of second-hand clothing fosters cultural exchange. Many garments carry stories and styles from different parts of the world, influencing local fashion trends. This blending of cultures can lead to unique fashion statements and a rich tapestry of styles that reflect both local and global influences. 6. Support for charitable causes. Many organizations involved in the second-hand clothing trade contribute a portion of their profits to charitable causes. This can include funding for education, healthcare, and community development projects, providing additional benefits to the importing countries. The ban on second-hand clothing imports is expected to stimulate the local textile industry, create employment opportunities, and reduce reliance on foreign goods. However, it also presents challenges, such as ensuring the affordability and availability of locally made clothing for all citizens. The long-term impact of this policy will depend on the government's ability to support local manufacturers and address potential economic implications. Thanks for watching this video. What are your thoughts on this decision? Let us know in the comments, and let's continue the conversation from there. Please, if you are new to the channel, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos.